Know Your Dharma, the spiritual journey towards exploring Hinduism, learning the art of life and finding peace within oneself, with your favorite spiritual host, Dr. Kishor Trivedi from the Hindu Society of North Carolina, exclusively on Bharat TV.
Hari Om and Namaste. I welcome you to today's episode of Know Your Dharma program with your host Kishor Trivedi. Today we will be discussing the Bhagavad Gita Pariksha initiative by the Hindu Society of North Carolina and Hindu University of America, together with the SV Temple of North Carolina, Bharat TV, and Radio Naira. We very much like to have other temples and Hindu groups in the Triangle area also join and contribute to this very worthy effort. Today we have a college student, Sudiksha Tota, as a guest speaker about her experience with Gita Pariksha that was conducted by the Hindu University of America at HSNC last year and will be repeated this year as an in-person event at HSNC on August 24, 2024. More information about the Pariksha can be obtained by writing to info@hua.edu. There is also an online course titled Growing Up with Gita being offered by the Hindu University of America to help prepare for the Gita Pariksha. This is a great opportunity for our youth to learn about Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, the primary scripture of Hinduism, and showcase their knowledge about it. So to start off, Hari Om, Sudiksha, please briefly give us an introduction about yourself.
Namaste and Hari Om Trivedi uncle. Thank you for your introduction. My name is Sudiksha, and like many of those who are considering or are interested in taking the Gita Pariksha, I'm a student, specifically a current sophomore at NC State University, where I'm pursuing mechanical engineering with the intention of making a positive impact, more specifically in the biomedical sector, assisting disadvantaged communities, protecting the environment, and promoting harmony with all living creatures. I have a keen interest in art and also enjoy creating pieces with profound connotations, often relating aesthetically, emotionally, or spiritually. Also, as part of my introduction, I wanted to share a quote that I deeply resonate with and cherish. And that is, "No one has ever changed the world by doing what the world has told them to do," by Eddie Jean. This simple quote resonates with me greatly because in today's world, it is especially effortless and oftentimes encouraged to assimilate and conform to the status quo, or that at least that which is easily acceptable and least disparate. Unfortunately, this mode is not exclusive to today's world. It is merely a continuation of a painful historical pattern stemming from deep unconsciousness. The earlier quote acknowledges the continuous stream of worldly unconsciousness, but also highlights the real change comes from those who dare to be different. Great spiritual teachers, inherently divergent thinkers, and compassionate individuals throughout history, like Nelson Mandela, Frida Kahlo, Einstein, Marie Curie, Lincoln, Buddha, and even Sri Krishna, whose timeless text is now inspiring this interview, have repeatedly shown us the profound impact of defying convention. Therefore, I believe that living uniquely, creatively, open-mindedly, and remaining true to one's values, given that they're honest and benign in nature, despite facing opposition, is integral and genuinely creates a powerful aura with the ability to remediate suffering. And interpreted correctly, I believe that this is one of the many lessons that can be derived from the Gita and directly applied into our own daily lives, regardless of our individually perceived cognitions.
Beautiful. So rooted in our ancient wisdom, but applying it to the today, present day situations.
Mm-hmm.
Sudiksha, you participated in the 2023 Gita Pariksha. First, tell us, how did you hear about the Pariksha?
So yeah, I did participate in that. And it's actually the way I heard about it was a rather interesting story of Maya and coincidental in nature. So I was attending a neighbor's puja, which is usually a common experience. Pujas are oftentimes predictable. The pujari chants and tells stories while attendees remain silent. But this one, which was dedicated to Sri Krishna, stood out. The puja heavily involved devotee participation. It was less systematic and more natural. We sang bhajans and participated in the homa. Soon after, I got the opportunity to chant the Bhagavad Gita with another devotee, our grandfather. And after chanting the 15th chapter with him, he sent me an online flyer of the Pariksha at HSMC and encouraged me to sign up. So I was pleasantly surprised because I didn't know this opportunity existed. And I immediately signed up soon for the exam.
Wonderful. Please tell us more about your interest in Bhagavad Gita and about your experience, which had inspired you to take the Pariksha.
Sure. Well, honestly speaking, my very first impression of the Bhagavad Gita was through the method of parental coercion. Initially, I had no interest in the Gita because I wasn't aware of the currently relevant and extensive knowledge that the Gita had to offer. I just merely saw it as a thick book with too many chapters and far too many Sanskrit words. However, my staunch belief is that one does not find the Gita and the Gita finds them. So a friend and devotee from the Vedanta Society of North Carolina has a grandmother living in India who offered to teach me the Gita. She became my guru and I called her my Aji. So with her dedication, patience, and guidance, I soon found myself particularly intrigued by the challenge and complexity of not only the Sanskrit words, but also the deep meaning behind the slokas. So now it has been 4 years since I first started chanting the Bhagavad Gita, and I continue to be inspired by its contents, still taking lessons out of its pages and applying them to my life. And as per what inspired me to directly take the Pariksha on the day of, I would have to say it was my mother and my Bhagavad Gita guru, Gita Pariksha. I recall waking up early in the morning of the exam, unsure if I even wanted to take the exam, because I was extremely tired from like a Shark Tank like competition at university that did not go well the day before. So my mom, who was actually the one who impelled me to learn the Gita, walked in. She did not push me to go take the exam. She simply said, if you have the energy, take it. If not, don't worry about it. And this doesn't appear to promote a very go-getter mindset to convince me to take the exam, but that's exactly what it was. And probably the most famous quote of the Gita, chapter 247, Sri Krishna expresses that one should not be attached to the action or the desired result of the action. So my mother's pleasant impartiality served as a symbol of this message from the Gita, ultimately encouraging me to actually go take the exam. And throughout the Gita Pariksha competition, it kept replaying in my head. Also, my guru Gita Kulkarni is a huge source of inspiration. Her kindness, humility, and commitment to teaching me over the course of many years. Mind you, not just the Gita. She patiently also taught me other Sanskrit texts as well. But she motivated me to complete the exam and do my best because I simply wanted to reciprocate her goodwill in the way that I knew how within the opportunity that had presented itself.
Now, of course, many others may not be able to have these kinds of opportunity that you had. So I just wanted to put a plug for a wonderful book that I find particularly for youths in this country, Eknath Ishwaran's Bhagavad Gita for Daily Living. It is written in very simple language, very modern language, and it is very simple to follow for youths. So I would like people to know about Eknath Ishwaran's 3-volume series on Bhagavad Gita. Now, getting back to the Pariksha, of course, it was very exciting for you to get the top prize, which was a significant amount as well. So tell us how you felt about winning the top prize.
Yeah, so with God's grace, I did win the top prize. And I'm very thankful for the HUA, HSNC, Embassy of India at Washington, DC, and all the wonderful partners, volunteers, and judges for their generosity and opportunity of an absolute lifetime. I was and remain deeply grateful. Although I will admit that I was initially surprised when I was kindly bestowed the top prize. After learning that some of my peers at the Pariksha by-hearted the entire Gita and were speaking very eruditely about the Vedas, I felt as though I wasn't deserving enough. So, however, I accepted the knowledge I currently possessed and listened to their words, allowing it to inspire me. There was a sort of indescribable aura in the room until one of us ended up addressing it, to which we all agreed. It didn't feel like a competition. The Pariksha united us, creating a safe space where lifelong students could meet, share their knowledge, and express their spiritual insights, free from worldly labels and limits. Despite sharing differences in formalities, titles, age, experience, and accomplishments, we saw beyond them. The competition lasted all day, but it didn't tire us. While we all thought it would be nice to be the one to win a prize, we were all truly winners that day. And that is faithfully how I feel. For once in a long time, I enjoyed the ambience and simply being present. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you have any ideas how to spread the word and get larger participation, particularly among the students at NC State, for example, through Yuva or any other groups that you may know of, as well as among your friends at college, elsewhere, and at the temple, including the Ramakrishna Vedanta Society of North Carolina. So please tell us how to spread the word.
So I strongly believe that personal connection and interaction is the most effective and most inspiring method for most people. So definitely having Pariksha participants talk about their experiences of the exam at their respective places of worship, clubs, universities, and other related spaces would be quite wonderful. So I followed this path of action, talking about my experiences at the Ramakrishna Vedanta Society of North Carolina, which I attend frequently. So many devotees were very inspired. And I ultimately believe that the Gita wholeheartedly calls to you. And if it's meant to be, then it's going to find a way to engage itself with you. For instance, I naturally struck up conversation with the Pujari at a Satyanarayana Puja recently. And he expressed how he's teaching his two sons and a group of students the Bhagavad Gita. He was unaware of the competition prior to me explaining it in detail. So this really appeared to me like deja vu, because I heard of the Pariksha in a similar way. So therefore, I definitely have to say word of mouth is the best method to encourage a larger participation.
Very good, very good. Now, did you end up taking the Growing Up with Gita course with Kalika Uttarji last year, or did you not?
Yeah, so I actually didn't, as I had attained my knowledge from several years of experience with the Vedanta Society of NC and my Guru Gita Kulkarniaji, to both of whom I greatly attribute my Pariksha performance to. However, Dr. Kalika Uttarkarji is truly an amazing person. I had the opportunity to interact with her as she served as a judge at the Pariksha and later at a seminar which I attended. She's very kind, patient, eloquent, knowledgeable. So I would definitely recommend Growing Up with the Gita class for any new or interested participants.
And indeed, her approach is very practical, how to utilize these ideas that might seem esoteric at first, but they are very useful in today's life. So Diksha, we certainly hope that you will volunteer to help at the upcoming Gita Pariksha. Is there a parting message you want our audience and potential students who might register for the course and take the Pariksha on August 24, 2024?
Yeah, of course. So I guess I'll start by saying, if you have even the slightest interest in the Gita or related Sanskrit texts, please do register for the course and take the Pariksha. I know some people I talked to had this issue of not being available to make this year's Pariksha date due to it being over summer, so travel or anything like that. But if that is the case, then I highly suggest preparing and planning to take it in the following year. So I definitely recommend that. And it's a very refreshing experience. It felt like a step out of my daily monotonous routine. And the judging process is incredibly fair and not superficial. It's really like a journey into your character, who you truly are. I suppose the best way to describe what I wish to convey is through the analogy of givers and takers. Takers would be similar to an acceptance into a college or university, where the educational institution is judging you for how beneficial it would be for them to accept you as a student. On the contrary, the Gita Pariksha took on a role of a giver. It's more of an assessment of individual character, passion, and knowledge that seeks to teach you more about yourself and the world around you, rather than expecting, anything in return. The whole Pariksha experience felt less like a competition and more like a supportive community, like interacting. To this day, I still recall the small things like the wonderful and knowledgeable conversations in the Pariksha room with my peers, Sethu Ramanji, and other amazing people who had joined in. So in summary, even if you feel like you're not ready, if you have even the slightest humble inclination of taking the Pariksha, I highly recommend doing it. It is a very rewarding experience.
Wonderful. So Diksha, thanks very, very much for taking the time to do this interview. And let me now display, for those who are going to see the video, let me display the flyer of the event. And let's see if I can share screen. So this particular flyer describes the fact that August 24 is the date of the exam, and you have to register by August 27. And the course Growing Up with Gita already started June 4, but you can still join in, I believe. In any case, we would like to see a very large participation this time, and hopefully this particular conversation might help. So with that, I will say goodbye to Sudiksha and to the audience. Hari Om and Namaste.